Everybody, what is going on? So I'm gonna do this real quick stream over the topic of discussion. What's going on with the latest take from Monica McNutt as she interviews with another guy, Drew. Jake, his name is Drewski, and she was on first take with Stephen A. Smith and this guy, and basically apparently so. What happened is she originally appeared on the Spawn, and ESPN makes the decision on Monica McNutt following her embarrassing first take blunder last week. McNutt, known for coverage of the WNBA, has been branching out into other sports and other roles at the network. On Friday, McNutt served as a guest host on ESPN's First Take, while McNutt was a part of the 2-hour show and a 30-second clip featuring comedian Drewski and Stephen A. Smith, and made all of the headlines for a very good reason. The ESPN personality did not appear to know who Barry Sanders is, as she made an embarrassing blunder referencing Drewski's number 20 Detroit Lions jersey, which he wore on the show. McNutt went viral when she referred to Drewski's number 20 Detroit Lions Barry Sanders jersey as something referred to Shedeur Sanders. The jersey obviously ties to Shedeur Sanders, she said, before being interrupted. No, Drewski replied, clearly confused, this is a Barry Sanders. And while Monica remains out of ESPN's First Take, the network decided to go in a different direction with the guest host on Monday, August the 18th. McNutt was not a part of the 90 minutes of the program. On Monday, it's unclear if she wasn't previously scheduled for. This was a reaction to her on-air blunder last week. And regardless, she was not a part of the program on Monday morning, August the 18th. And Friday and Monday's morning show features Stephen A. Smith, Darren Orlovsky, Adam Schefter, Mike Tannenbaum, and others. And with the wake of McNutt's blunder, fans are calling for more changes at ESPN. Fans want to hear from the people who really know about the sport that they are talking about. We don't need NFL analysts talking about the NBA or WNBA analysts not understanding who Barry Sanders is. This is Monica McNutt. She works for ESPN and doesn't know who Barry Sanders is. How is it possible for an employee at ESPN who doesn't know who that is? I think I know the answer. Do you? One fan wrote. And they wonder why the ratings are down. One fan added, and ESPN used to have the best sports media cover personalities. Also, McNutt once said Caitlin Clark was popular because she's white. One fan added. And McNutt, who is mostly known for covering the WNBA, of course, we already said she was popular, at least a part in her mind, due to her race. And of course, she has stayed silent on social media in the wake of her blunder. Waiting to hear from McNutt, perhaps a statement and apology of some kind, but thus far, we haven't heard from the ESPN analyst. So, yeah, I did not see this take last week that she said, and that she had an interview with the comedian and Stephen A. Smith. I didn't see this, but my thoughts about this whole thing was just like, you are getting paid millions of dollars to appear on a highly telecast programming on First Take, and for Monica McNutt, who is actually a decent analyst when it comes to covering the NBA and the WNBA, my thoughts are like, why do you have these kind of like segments in the program, and you have her who really isn't super keen and isn't super keenly on these kind of broad and in broad takes, and not knowing who a former retired legendary veteran athlete like Barry Sanders, who pretty much paved the way for a lot of running backs in today's era, in today's time. For you to not know who that guy is absolutely insane. That's just an insane way of looking at things. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I mean, if ESPN is gonna make changes, they need to really make changes to really focus on pundits and experts that really are focusing on just covering one specific subject instead of having multiple on every other subject who are not really keen, who are not really experts at covering. And to me, it kind of just goes to show you that ESPN pretty much and journalism is no longer like like I said before, is no longer needed in game and its professional game anymore and in sports anymore. It's all provided of entertainment and it's all provided of just performance and pretty much theatrics at this point because they don't really have the kind of really get vitriol to really not only get called out for a lot of bad and bold and bad takes, but at the same time, really not being held accountable, you know, and for being held responsible for their actions. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show you that really ESPN did not, and also the people who was running the show, running the first take, are not really the same showrunners who run the program like that anymore. Um, but as far as what happened with Monica McNutt and her, insanely not non-formulated take and expertise on that. And I feel like in certain instances, it could be a form of sabotagement from ESPN, to kind of like relieve her from just being appearing on the program, but it also could be a sabotaging on her own behalf because I think for you to be 35 years old and for you to actually have actually be in the journalism background and a background degree in broadcasting, you should pretty much have whereabouts and ideas on a lot of these athletes. And really, as you're writing blogs and then you're studying the game, you should really have a really good knowledge on it instead of just embedding and inviting people on, comedians on, or inviting other athletes on, and you have no idea and whereabouts your area. So that's just a thing for me that I would say is something that I would initially, in my opinion, work on if I was ESPN. Probably get people that are actually, you know, have background degrees, broadcasting degrees, or journalistic backgrounds. Look at people like that to really get give their own expertise on this kind of game, and really who have studied sports, who have watched sports for a long time. You really need to look at these kind of things with a grain of salt. But it used to be shows and programs on ESPN like the Sports Reporters, with John Saunders, Stuart Scott, Bill Simmons, Scoop Jackson, and the rest of the others that actually had really, really bold take, really, really good takes, and actually knew about sports, knew about the game, knew about every other topic, and actually had really good questions and segments, and provided a lot of entertainment and realistic information. So that's just my thoughts, and that's just my take about um, what went down on First Take with Monica and Nut. Uh, like I said, I didn't watch the actual segment to really get information and gathering, but for me, I just think that it's just absolutely insane um, for you to not know who exactly Barry Sanders is of all people. That's ridiculous, and an overview of it, they really need to do an overhaul, looking at different people to come in and really look at an interview for to be permanently on the show and permanently be on the program. Because you just can't have anybody and everybody being on there and they have no idea about certain people. But yeah, that's all I got about this. It's just only a little quick, small little video for me. I'll come back later on today, probably do another one. I gotta talk about some more music, more album announcements. I didn't get a chance to do this. I didn't get a chance to do a lot of album announcements yesterday because I had to work. But yeah, I'll come back to you guys and relate to you that later. And until then, I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.